spins back, slicing through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture films in the world we see. Deleted scenes where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties we use to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Yeah. Steam it out on your YouTube, bro, let's roll.
Right. Sorry for the hang up there. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, Human Being American, and YouTuber Ronan, and I'd like to welcome you to tonight's episode of Unscripted. We control the vertical, we control the horizontal, or at least we try. Do want to say hello to everyone currently following along on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. Want to say hello to a few people joining us here in the live chat. Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Clary. My co-host on Mystery Movie Night podcast, Enigma Severus. Friend of the channel, D. Penzak. Right on. Channel member JP RPH1. All right. In full disclosure, I have not seen She-Hulk or Spider-Man Brave New Day. So this is not a review. This is not me saying don't watch the show, don't go see the movie. I'm not telling you what to think. I have not seen either one. So this show is not about that. This is a show that is merely about the behind-the-scenes drama that seems to be going on. This is not meant to be a hit piece against anybody. I don't want Marvel fans to inundate the comment section with, "Ooh, why'd you attack that?" That's not what this is about. This is me merely reporting on 2 news stories. That's it. So I don't want, any shills or anybody to come after me. I could care less. All right. You like what you like. If you enjoyed She-Hulk, that's fine. If you didn't, fine. If you liked the Spider-Man movie or if you didn't, fine. Before anybody jumps down my throat, this is not me telling anybody to go. This is not me telling anybody not to go see these things. Not what this is about. I want that made clear ahead of time. I am merely reporting on the behind-the-scenes issues. And I feel that those behind-the-scenes issues bring down the quality of these films brings down the quality of the TV shows. We're going to be finding out about a producer that seems to have his own issues. We're going to be talking about showrunners who maybe don't deserve that job. This is about quality control. That's what this is about. And how there are a bunch of adults, supposed to be adults, that are acting like a bunch of 2-year-olds. Now, there is a news article that I've been made aware of from Variety. So take it with a grain of salt at the same time. Understand that the entertainment media is like the news media. They have an agenda. And they do not have our best interests in mind. Okay. These are people who are busy burning down their own industry. So take whatever they say as a grain of salt when it comes to a Variety article. But since no one's denying it so far, I am going to go under the basis that this is factual. And there's also a tweet that has come to been brought to my attention as well, and we're going to be talking about that. But before we go into any of that, I do want to say hello to a few people who have joined us. The tired midnight blogger himself, Curtis Selby, listening in as he drives home. All right, be careful getting home. The host of Films with Friends, the creator of the 10-Word Review, Big Al Presents. My co-host on Live from Sparkwood and 21, and the host of Geeky Geezers, which will begin at the top of the next hour. Stay to the end of this broadcast. You will be redirected. All right. Now, the first thing that I want to go into was a post off of Twitter by a man by the name of Daniel Friedman. All right. Let's share screen. Because I want to read this off in its entirety. All right, this is the head writer and showrunner of She-Hulk was Jessica Gao. She was best known for being the credited writer on the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty. During the production of that episode, Rick and Morty showrunner Dan Harmon cast Susan Sarandon as the family's therapist, a character Gao named Dr. Wong in the script. Gao crashed out over the casting of a white actor for this part. 2018, this was a major transgression, and as an act of contrition, Harmon did a podcast with Gao called Whiting Wongs, which is 40 hours of him apologizing and learning about racism. The writer credit on the Pickle Rick episode and this podcast raised Gao's profile enough for her to land a showrunner gig on Marvel's Disney Plus She-Hulk show. But the production was extremely troubled. in addition to not staffing lawyers or legal drama writers on the show who could deliver on the Ally McBeal in the MCU pitch, the She-Hulk show required, as described by Gal in interviews, an extraordinary level of direct personal involvement and micromanagement from Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige. Gal described her relationship with Feige as supportive and collaborative. She also describes him routinely intervening to reshape the show in the wake of catastrophic test audience responses. In the finale episode, She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall of her show, climbs through the Disney Plus UI, and confronts a robot named Kevin. That has been controlling her life. Feige allowed this, but Gal wanted to put a baseball cap on the robot like the one Feige wears, and that was a bridge too far for him. According to an interview, Gal gave the Hollywood Reporter she threatened to resign if the robot could not wear the hat, and Feige immediately accepted her resignation. A visual designer managed to mediate the dispute by incorporating a, quote, hat-like element into the robot's design. The show was canceled after the first season. The cast has been released. None of its events have been referenced in any other Marvel productions, and She-Hulk star Tatiana Maslany is not in Avengers Doomsday. Jessica Gal has no IMDb credits since She-Hulk was canceled in 2022. All right. So let's break this down, shall we? Number one, if you are a showrunner, you are the one who is in charge, or at least you're supposed to be. Dan Harmon can cast anyone he wants for whatever character he wants. It's an animated show. What difference is it going to make? You can hire an Asian to play a white guy. It's been done. It doesn't matter. That's the whole point behind a voice actor. You can play any character. So number one, this girl's already getting into a snit because the guy who's supposed to be the boss is not running the show the way she wants the show to be run. So I got to tell you what, I got a problem with that right then and there. Because there is something that these children need to understand. And I'm even if they're adults, I'm just going to start calling them children. Okay? Because it's how they're acting. All right. You go to work for someone, they are the ones who are in charge, not you. Just because you're out of college, just because you're a woman, and just because you're Asian, guess what? No one cares. This is the real world. 2018 was still somewhat the real world. Okay? The boss says jump, you say how high. This is the way it used to be done. You don't go off and cry. You don't make the man sit through 40 hours. Now, here's where, as far as I'm concerned, Dan Harmon screwed up. And that was agreeing to do this in the first place. I have listened to excerpts from this program. I can't air them here because I don't have their permission to do so. But I got to tell you, this stuff they talk about, these struggle sessions, these things are for real, folks. They did this shit to people. Now, Dan Harmon agreeing to this in the first place, when personally, if I were him, I would have just fired this girl for insubordination and moved on. You know, if you can't cut it, you don't like it, leave. But no, this guy sits through 40 hours of airtime to force an apology out of him and go, oh my God, you're right, I'm a sexist, I'm a racist. Well, Dan Harmon, you're a pussy. That's what you are. I don't know what Rick and Morty was. I don't know what Community was. But whoever the guy was who created those two programs, that man is dead. You died as a human being the second you went on that podcast. You rolled over and you allowed this woman to snip your balls off. That's what you did. So I'm done with you. Take your story circle and leave. Now, somehow in the middle of writing this episode of Rick and Morty and basically making her boss look foolish, she got a job at Marvel out of this. And again, immediately begins to do the same thing. She goes after her boss, who, near as I can tell, bent over backwards to accommodate her. The pitch for She-Hulk was Ally McBeal in the MCU, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can actually make something good out of that. Ally McBeal is, I remember that show. I saw most of the episodes. It is an acquired taste. The lead character in that show is a complete insane nutcase, you know. But she means well, and that was the saving grace of it. Now, the difference was, for as goofy as that show was, and as over the top as it got, the legal stuff was right on. Why? Because you had writers who researched these things, who learned so that they could know what they were talking about. There were legal consultants. What did they do on She-Hulk? They did none of those things. You had writers that did not know what they were talking about, had no legal knowledge. They only knew how to write about themselves. So that's what they did. You know, She-Hulk was not Ally McBeal in the MCU. She-Hulk was Jessica Gal having a therapy and struggle session. That is all this show was. And guess who the villains were? Us, YouTubers, people like me. We were made the villains of the show. So this woman has had a job in Hollywood since 2022. You know what? Good. Good. Get out of our hair. You had an opportunity. You squandered it. Because you had to be the precious snowflake. Because you just had the woman to back up your bullshit. And even if you can't get the legal stuff right, you know what? You have decades of material that you can pull from. Don't make a character that you didn't create about you. And how you feel that you're not being seen. We're done with the activism. We are done with your therapy sessions and your struggle sessions. And we're done with your Hollywood racism and sexism being redirected back at us. Your show got canceled after one season of that. You know what? Good. You haven't worked in Hollywood in years. You know what? Good. Everybody involved with this thing, you need to rethink your life. Now, once again, if there's anyone who watched She-Hulk and enjoyed it or maybe hate watched it, fine. Not my cup of tea, man. It ain't. The chat's been jumping. I do see you. Let's get back to it here real quick. Boomer says he thinks the title of the podcast is offensive. It is. Hello to FKG 2005, sometimes known as Tim, and he is watching out for snakes. Indeed. How dare he not recognize a writer of her caliber? Good. Should have basically said, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Indeed. Great adjectives, children. Indeed. Yes, James Avery was Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince. Did voice of Shredder on TMNT. Pay your dues and learn your place in the workforce. Indeed. Sadly, they don't have people's backs out there anymore. Yeah, or else they would have told Dan Harmon not to be involved with that damn podcast. Hello to you, Sarnji. Tim says he prides himself on not seeing it. And again, I'm not telling anybody they can't. This is not a boycott. I'm not calling for that. I don't do that on this channel. Watch what you want, enjoy what you want, dislike whatever you want. I'm just saying that Marvel, as it is, this is not for me. It ended at Endgame, honestly. All right. Well, there was one other thing that I wanted to go over with you real quick. And this is once again going back to the other story this week involving Kevin Feige. And that, of course, is the success of Spider-Man Brave New Day, which is now hit over $1 billion. And who exactly deserves the credit? And we're going to now remember, guys, due to all of the rights issues that are going on, Marvel Studios is merely borrowing Spider-Man. He's still a Sony property. Let's just go into the article here real quick. Kevin Feige on Brand New Day, breaking records, Sadie Sink's reveal, and Tom Holland getting a, quote, restful victory lap before a potential Spider-Man 5. Now, let's go into this little bit right here. All right. Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey. We knew this going in. I don't know how they think that this is like some kind of big, secret that they need to hide, that it's still a spoiler. I heard this months ago that she was going to be Jean Grey. Who else was she going to be? Hello, anyway, let's go into this article. Kevin Feige can't stop breaking his own box office benchmarks. All right, number one, they're not all his. They're really nope. You can't claim the Spider-Man movies, Feige. They're not yours. If anybody takes credit for this, it's Amy Pascal. I understand that that's hard to frickin' do. Because let's face it, folks, at this point, we have enough on Amy Pascal to write a freaking book. but someone actually did go out and write a book about the MCU. So, yeah, yeah, his own about, yeah. All right. As the president of Marvel Studios and architect of the sprawling, ultra-successful Marvel Cinematic Universe, Feige's now responsible for the 4 biggest opening weekends in history. Okay, now, if you're the architect, what did you need James Gunn for? Why did you need to lean on Jon Favreau so heavily? Guys, let's not blow smoke up each other's butts here, okay? We know there was no plan. There's no plan. Just like with DC, just like with Star Wars, just like with Star Trek, there is no plan. Understand that going in. There is no plan. You're not going to get anything comic accurate. And you've got so many characters running around, you don't know what to do with them all. His latest record-setting blockbuster, Spider-Man: Brand New Day, which collected a dizzying $360 million in its domestic debut and supplanted 2019's Avengers: Endgame, $357 million, as the biggest opening weekend ever. To get a sense and size, of the size and scale of the accomplishment, the third and fourth largest launches, 2021's Spider-Man: No Way Home with $260 million. And 2018's Avengers: Infinity War, $257 million, earned $100 million less to start and still became the 2 highest grossing movies of all time. All that is to say is there's no telling where Spider-Man: Brand New Day, the 38th installment in the MCU, will wind up by the end of its theatrical run. $932 million globally after 3 days in theaters. And let's give it to him for this. That's nothing to sneeze at. You're at nearly $1 billion after your first weekend. I'm not going to spit on that. Go for it. And hello to Nate. Channel member, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. I saw Spider-Man: Brand New Day yesterday. It's a good movie. I just had some problems with it because no movie is perfect. Introduction to Jean Grey in the MCU is completely screwed up. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. He says there's nothing about the story. This had to be Jean Grey. It could have been any other mutant telepath. They could correct it. Brand new character if they wanted to. And makes problems for Jean Grey and the X-Men. I'm like, yeah. Because they are introducing the X-Men as villains. Not only do you have everything that Jean Grey is responsible for in this film, and like I said, I haven't seen it. All I know is what I've heard. And the fact that I'm not just hearing this from one person, I'm hearing it from multiple people whose opinions I trust. Now, the X-Men are also in Doomsday. The leaks that we have heard from the plot leaks that we've heard about Doomsday is that Doomsday opens with the X-Men destroying Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's timeline. They're destroying his world because they got the whole multiverse thing going. So I got 2 problems with that up front. Number one, making the X-Men the villain. The whole point of the X-Men is trying to tell you that the mutants are not bad people, right? And then the first thing they do is commit genocide against a planet. That tends to take away from your, hey, we're the good guys message. and the fact that it's Tobey Maguire's timeline that they're destroying. I got a problem with that. Let me get to the rest of the article here real quick. With 932 million globally after 3 days in theaters, the Tom Holland-led superhero adventure will cross 1 billion at a near record clip and climbed to 2 billion in no time. It's overwhelming, frankly, to find ourselves in this position on a Monday morning, says Feige, in the very best way. Brand new day. Holland's fourth solo outing as Spider-Man follows the aftermath of titular web slinger's pivotal decision in No Way Home to erase his identity from the world in order to salvage the multiverse. He's still fighting crime, but Marvel's friendly neighborhood hero is seriously struggling without his pals, played by Zendaya and Jacob Batalon. By his side with the mysterious entity, Sadie Sink has something to do with that. She's Jean Grey, just say it. Sadie Sink is Jean Grey, threatening New York City. After a historic weekend at the box office, Feige spoke to Variety about Tom Holland's enduring popularity as Peter Parker, Sink's grand MCU debut, and what the success of Brand New Day means for December's epic crossover event, Avengers Doomsday. Prior to this weekend, did you ever think another movie could open more than 300 million? After all, Avengers Endgame, the only other movie to achieve those initial heights, was the culmination of 22 interconnected films. I didn't, for all the reasons I don't think anyone did, because of COVID. They're still on COVID, folks. You know, these movies are failing not because they're bad, but because of COVID. You know? Oh man. See last week's show, folks. Because once the bar had been raised, it would be raised again, right? The first movie ever to cross 100 million after opening weekend was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. The first to cross 150 in one weekend was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. The first to 200 million was the first Avengers. And of course, the first to 300 million was Endgame. We did think that things would increase, but the past 5 or 6 years didn't necessarily feel like that was the case. It's a long-winded way of saying I didn't expect Endgame's record to be beat, but I couldn't be happier because it was beat this past weekend by our 38th MCU movie. It's not an MCU movie. It's a Sony movie. You are borrowing these characters. Nate says, forcing Elena, Black Widow's sister, in this movie is ridiculous because if you remove her scenes from the movie, nothing changes about the story. Yeah, that's another thing I've heard. If they're under my control, that's a cop-out too. Yeah. Let me see how long he goes on for here. All right, there's not much. There's not much more. Okay. The debuts of Brand New Day and Endgame are 100 million above the next biggest opening weekends. How did this movie rise to that level of popularity? It's a testament to director Destin Daniel Cretton, who, by the way, didn't want to shoot the original script because he said it was awful. Tom Holland, who, by the way, rewrote the script, along with a screenwriter named Justin Kritzkes, I think is his name, who is the on-set production writer of this film, and producer Amy Pascal. Oh, thank you, Mr. Feige, for acknowledging that Amy Pascal exists. And Sony Pictures chairman Tom Rothman, who, by the way, does not like superhero movies. This is the guy who literally said no capes. You know? for letting us do this 4 times now. Working to bring Spidey to the screen. It's a testament to what Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created all those years ago. People can write about changing tastes, but as characters that grow and evolve through the decades, there are none better than the Marvel characters, none better than Peter Parker. When you find an actor like Tom Holland to bring that character to life, it is the magic formula. It's hard to imagine Tom Holland ever departing the role, or their plans to make another Spider-Man movie with him. To which Feige replies, there are always plans, but right now he's going to rest after that global tour. He and Zendaya are going to take a good and restful victory lap, which they very much deserve. Why did you want to keep Sadie Sink's casting a secret? Guess what? It wasn't a secret. It's purely about creating the best possible opening weekend experience for the audience. Sadie's character is the one that our fans know has immense significance within the Marvel Universe, which plays a key role in the future of the MCU. I'm just happy that this secret is finally out and Sadie can stop dodging that question. Next question. How does Brand New Day set up the MCU moving forward? For people who have seen Brand New Day, they know the storyline leads us to more Spider-Man films and into the future of the MCU. I think we're still in spoiler territory because the movie only just came out. Trust me, there are no more spoilers left. That leads into another very well-known Marvel franchise created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. There was a time when superhero movies couldn't miss at the box office. What have you learned from recent hits and misses in the genre? I can only speak to Brand New Day, and audiences responded to a movie that's well crafted and well made. They don't always do that. When they do, it's a nice reminder that success builds success. The Odyssey, Toy Story 5, and all the great movies that have been in theaters this year reminds people that there's nothing like a shared experience. There's nothing like a moment for the whole globe to come together. With some recent misses, though, it feels like the audiences are getting tired of more of the same story. Do you agree? Many things can be true at once. I think last year's Fantastic Four looked and sounded like nothing that had been done in a superhero movie before, and it only grossed $521 million. Brand New Day is very directly a part 4. Picks up right after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, yet it tells a story that resonates. Ultimately about loneliness and the dangers of staying in our apartments by ourselves looking at our phones. Now, from what I understand of the film, no, it ain't about that. That resonates across cultures and across the globe right now. What does the excitement for Brand New Day mean for Doomsday in December? For Avengers, Doomsday, and X-Men, it bodes very well when a shared universe works. These are the results. All right. D. Pensek says Sony Pictures owns the film and certain multimedia rights to Spider-Man through a 1998 deal with Marvel, while Marvel Disney retains the comic rights and some merchandise. Wasn't Tom Rothman back at Fox years ago with the original X-Men films? He was, yes, but he has stated on a number of occasions that he's not a fan of superhero films. But he keeps making them. The story was very good, the direction on point. They should give this guy more MCU movies. Yeah, well, he directed Shang-Chi. Or Chong-Chi, or however we're pronouncing it now. Also, the cinematographer of this movie deserves a nomination because he literally got shots on film that look like a comic panel without being cheesy or ridiculous. Yeah, I've heard that part of it at least is good. Marvel needs an overhaul. Maybe this movie is a step in the right direction. I can't say. I'm debating seeing it. I'm not in a hurry. It sounds like a movie I would be very mixed on. The people are enjoying it. And in the end, that's what we want. But Nate, no, Nate, don't get me wrong. I think you're right. Um, I don't like where they're going with the X-Men based on what we're seeing so far. Um, but the thing is that with the movie having made the money that it's made, they're going to see this as a win. As far as Marvel is concerned, this is what you're going to get. In the end, it's not going to matter what I think personally. All of the movies that have come out this year that have hit the $1 billion mark or come close, I haven't seen any of them. It doesn't matter what I think. I go to this movie, like it or dislike it, it won't matter. They're going to go to the direction that they're going to go, right or wrong. Because the lunatics are running the asylum. They just tanked 2 phases of the MCU for DEI purposes. You had a showrunner, quote unquote, who was willing to tank a series over a fucking hat. And you've got a guy running the show, head of the studio, who likes to take credit for things that he had nothing to do with. I don't know where Marvel is going. They're riding high right now. You got a W. Good. But what next? Where does Doomsday take you? Where does Secret Wars take you? I don't think they're going to do as well as Spider-Man. But what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. I'm in my mother's basement. I'm actually in the living room of my house that I own. But according to these people, I'm in my mother's basement. I'm just a grifter. I make no money from YouTube, guys. I literally make enough to pay for the StreamYard. That's it. And good luck getting that to work half the time. Or, hey, I'm just this amateur critic whose opinion doesn't mean anything. Right, Christopher Nolan? I promised this wouldn't be a rant. I did my best. This is a case where whatever happens, happens. And it doesn't matter if I'm there or not. From HQ, in all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night. Take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy, because this is how we win. Even if it does depress me a little.
It's even odd Neuronan's back, slicing through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture, films, and the world we see. Deleted scenes, where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews, to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews, to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Let's roll.
All right, don't forget, those of you whose names just scrolled by at the bottom of the screen there, you are eligible for the member stream tonight in 2 hours, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, for Behind the Curtain, my members only show. Thank you once again, and good night.